Hey guys, what's going on? So today I thought I'd talk to you about some of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Whether it's embarrassing for me or embarrassing for the people around me, and then I'll probably just throw in a couple random weird stories in between to fill space. So the first story I wanted to tell you guys about was about 6 years ago when I was 14. I can't do math! So the first story I want to tell you guys about was when I was 14, and I had just started going through puberty. I was a late bloomer. Don't you judge me. And so I just started going through puberty, and one day I came to school and I wasn't feeling very good. And so, there was one class I was in who had a very, very attractive teacher's aide, I guess you could say. She was maybe 24, 25, and she looked a lot like Scarlett Johansson. Right there. Damn. So that's what she looked like, and she was very attractive, and I had the biggest crush on her ever. So, one day, I'm not feeling very well, and so I get through the class ends, and I go out, and I just start chugging from the water fountain, thinking it'll help. It did not. What proceeded to happen is she walked over to me to see if I was okay. And she put her hand on my back, which scared the crap out of me. So I spun around, and that's when it got bad. She came over, she put her hand on my back, and I turned around scared, and I started to projectile vomit on this woman. Yeah, it was bad. It was one of the, it happened so quick that I didn't realize what had happened actually. And I kind of came out of my state after throwing up all over her. And that's because I had started to go through puberty. I just look up at her and I go, "I'm so sorry." Another one I want to tell you guys about. This did not happen to me. I just witnessed it happen, but it's one of my favorite stories to date. So what had happened was 2-3 years ago, I was working as an usher at a movie theater. Now, if you don't know what an usher is, it's those people who clean up the theaters and tear tickets. That's what I did. So it was just right around the time where the second Twilight movie had come out, and me and a bunch of the other ushers are just standing in the theater waiting for the movie to end so we can clean it. And so we're standing there, and it's the part in the movie, if you've seen it, where it's the end where Edward goes to take off his shirt to prove that he's a vampire to all the world. Who really cares? But so it was right then, as he's taking off his shirt, and right as he takes off his shirt, this little girl in the front row of the movie theater, all over the place. It was hilarious. It was just so beautifully timed. So that's another story. I know that every time I see Edward shirtless, I vomit too. So one thing I like to do a lot of the time is when I'm driving in a car or anything, if we pull up to a red light and there's someone directly on the side of us, what I like to do is literally just stare at them until they get uncomfortable. Because it's always just so much fun. They're always just like, "What? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Just knock it off. Just knock it off. Just knock it off." So anyway, there was one time where we pull up right next to these people, but I'm in the back seat of this car. And, I do what I do, and I just slowly look over at this person. But who was actually in the car when I turned was this little boy. I guess he was maybe 8 or 9 years old. We just immediately lock eyes because we're just staring at each other. I just see his hand come up and just slowly roll up the window. It was the funniest thing. So this one actually happened to me, I I'd say 6 months ago. It wasn't that long ago. But it was also embarrassing, I guess. I mean, it's not, I don't really take embarrassment too much anymore. So I was working at a restaurant place as a barista. For those of you who don't know what that is, I made coffee. So one day I was doing that, and I went back into the storeroom to get cups, and they came in those long, plastic cup things, But they also bent a lot, so they were wobbly. So there was one time where I go and I get all these cups, and I'm walking back, and I made a Lost in Space reference, and I'm sitting there and I go, "Danger, Will Robinson, danger!" with these cups flailing. And as I come around the corner, there's one of the guys I worked with, his name was Garrett, and he's just kind of standing there like, "What was that, you lunatic?" No, but it was funny. I can't think of another story. So this one's another story that happened to me while I was working as an usher at that same movie theater. The Haunting in Connecticut had just come out. I had not seen it yet. And there was a girl at the theater whose sole purpose in life was to just horrify people, I guess. I'm standing in the theater waiting for it to end. I'm just sitting there. It's one of the really intense parts of the movie. And I'm just standing there waiting for it. And she comes up behind me and just grabs my back. It scared the hell out of me. And I let out the girliest, most high-pitched scream in front of all of these people who were watching this, and I actually scared most of them more than the movie did because of my girly scream. Here's a reenactment. Well guys, that is all for this video. I will check back with you guys next video, I guess. That's kind of weird to say. Also, I have been designing a t-shirt lately. Here it is. Alright guys, let me know what you think about the t-shirt. If you like it, if you don't, if you think it's funny. Also, I want to start a question and answer series. I just don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Also, I've been thinking a lot lately. I think I'm just going to mesh this channel and my second channel together, at least until it gets more popular. So the vlogs will be coming over to this channel pretty soon. Anyway, you guys, I will see you next time. Rock on from Birth On, and I love you a lot. Is this awkward for you? Bye! I can hear you! Are you gonna unsee yourself? No, I'm filming!